Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sir James Dunn Theatre, Dalhousie University Arts Centre in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is game number 3 of the national playoffs of Reach for the Top. I'm your host and quizmaster, Hans Budgie. Over the next half hour, you're going to see some fine young Canadians in action. Questions and answers, that's what they'll be trying to do in order to get points to move on to future rounds of Reach for the Top in search of the national title. I'm looking forward to a game featuring teams today from Ontario and Alberta. First of all, from Ontario, we have Gloucester High School from Gloucester, Ontario. And let's meet the team. We have Manyi Sun, first of all, Vivek Krishnamurthy, Jonathan Richardson, and William Godso. And I might mention that their team alternates not playing in this game are Rob Kane and Alex McKenzie. Their coach is Kelly Oka. And let's meet the team now from Lindsay Thurber Comprehensive High School in Red Deer, Alberta. They are David Gibbons, Alex McCloy, Justin Latoon, and Dylan Caddy. And their team alternates not playing today, Adam Pfizer and Shane Boss. Their coach, teacher, advisor is Barry Latoon. And you've met the teams, and I must tell you before we start, our judge, to keep things fair and honest, Hamilton McGuire, and his decision will be final. So teams, let's not waste any time, and let's get started with some short snappers here. Try each of these for 10 points. This is the name of both a county in Western Ireland and an exclusive U.S. private health clinic. Try it, Vivek.
Mayo.
Mayo gets you 10 to start us off. What gas, better known as smog, is produced by the combination of nitric oxide? Go ahead, William.
Ozone.
Yes, ground level ozone starts us off with another 10 points. And Sky Pilot is the nickname for a man of what profession? Jonathan.
Aviator.
And no, not aviator. Offer it to Alberta. What would a sky pilot be? Any answer? That's a clergyman, a chaplain, or a priest, interestingly enough. And finally, on these short snappers, who composed the opera I Pagliacci? Try it, Manyi.
Verdi?
No, not Verdi. Offer it to Lindsay Thurber. Anybody want to try it? David?
Mozart.
It was Ruggiero Leoncavallo, so no points there. Let's see how you do now. Moving into a Canadian Facts open question in 3 parts here, teams. How many seats are there in the Canadian... Go ahead, Vivek.
301.
No, in the Canadian Senate is our question. Anybody on the Alberta team want to try it? Canadian Senate? All right, Alex.
78.
There are 104 of them. By law, how often must a census take place? Try it, Vivek.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years, that's how often it must take place in Canada. And what was the last province to enter? Try it, Vivek.
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland entered Confederation. You've got it for 10. An open question now. Try this one on inventors in 3 parts. Who devised the modern safety razor, which had Try it, Justin.
Gillette.
Gillette. King Camp Gillette with throwaway blades. That's what the safety razor had. And who introduced 35mm celluloid film with perforations? Go ahead, Vivek.
Eastman.
No, with perforations along each edge, which was a major contribution to cinematography. Try it, Justin.
Kodak.
It was, in fact, Thomas Alva Edison on that one. And who made the first news transmissions when the results of the Kingston Regatta were sent to a Dublin newspaper? Anybody have a guess? Jonathan?
Reuter.
It wasn't Reuter. Offer to Alberta. Nobody's wanting to guess on that. Guglielmo Marconi made that particular transmission. Let's try this scramble team question here. If you get the scramble, your team gets the second parts. So, for 10 points, who served as the Prime Minister of Canada between 1921 to 26? Go ahead, Jonathan.
King.
Mackenzie King. You get it for 10 points. Judge, acceptable for 10 points. Going to the Ontario team there, Mackenzie King. Remaining questions deal with William Lyon, Mackenzie King. To which party did Mackenzie King belong? Try it, Vivek.
Liberal.
Liberal Party of Canada. Correct for 10 points on that one. What was Mackenzie King's first occupation? That's what I need from Ontario on this. Vivek?
Civil servant.
He was indeed a civil servant. Good for another 10. And Mackenzie King was the grandson of another noted Canadian political figure. Identify the individual. Vivek.
William Lyon Mackenzie.
You've got it. William Lyon Mackenzie is all we needed on that one. Back in it now, Lindsay Thurber. It's open here, 30 points on Middle Eastern geography. I want you, first of all, teams, to tell me, what is Syria's capital? Go ahead, Vivek.
Damascus.
That's its capital city. Good for 10. What is the capital of Iraq? Vivek?
Baghdad.
Baghdad gets another 10. And what sea lies north of Turkey? Vivek?
The Black Sea.
The Black Sea gets you the final 10. So doing well on the geography questions. Let's see how we do with a Supreme Court of Canada question. First of all, for 10 points, how many justices, Vivek?
9.
9 of them sit on the Supreme Court, so you get 10 points for that answer. How many justices must come from Quebec? Jonathan?
3.
3 of them must come from Quebec. You got the points for that. And Antonio Lamer is, go ahead, Vivek.
Chief Justice.
Is currently the Chief Justice of the court, but what term is given to the 8 justices who sit with the Chief Justice? This one's to you, Alberta. What are they called?
Judges.
Anybody have an answer? Must tell you then, they are associate justices. And finally, in the United States, Supreme Court justices are selected by the President and approved by the Senate. Who appoints them in Canada? Vivek.
The Prime Minister.
Yes, Prime Minister, or the Cabinet and the Prime Minister, but effectively the Prime Minister is involved with that. And we have a music question coming up, teams, an audio music question. You must wait for my clue before you can buzz in and answer, and each of these are worth 10 points, and the first selection coming up now. What is the title of this spirited composition by Franz Liszt? Can anybody give it to me? Magny.
Hungarian Rhapsodies?
It's not Hungarian Rhapsody. Offer it to Lindsay Thurber for a try. Anybody have a guess? We're looking for the Mephisto Waltz. And the Liszt Waltz was inspired by the legend of Faust and a story about a dance of challenge at a wedding. What is the name of the character who challenges Faust? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Mephistopheles.
That's right. Mephistopheles challenges Faust musically in the waltz. So points going for that question. We're going to hear another selection now, teams, and then a clue. Please wait for the clue. What is the title of this waltz? Go ahead, Magny.
It's the Minute Waltz?
It is the Minute Waltz. You've got it. It's by Liszt's friend and musical contemporary Frédéric Chopin. And the word minute in the title does not refer to its playing time, but is derived from the French word minute. What is it? Go ahead, Vivek.
Small.
Judge. Acceptable, little or small, good for 10 points. And we have an open question now, 40 points here. It's called a take me to your leader question, so let's see how you do with these. 10 points on this first one. His Nazi followers referred to Hitler by what? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Führer.
Der Führer, I'll accept that. Führer correct for 10. What group sang Leader of the Pack? Go ahead, Jonathan.
The Shangri-Las.
The Shangri-Las sang Leader of the Pack. And by what title of respect was Mussolini called? Try it, Vivek.
Il Duce.
Il Duce by his Italian followers, good for another 10. And finally, Joseph Jugashvili, try it, Vivek.
Stalin.
That's right, he changed his name as he moved into a leadership role, and by what name is he better known? Stalin, correct for 10 points there. And we come to the short snappers to finish off round one, so let's see how each of the two teams do on these, and we'll have a break immediately thereafter. For 10 points, the chief religious minister of a synagogue is called, try it, Jonathan.
Rabbi.
He is called a rabbi, good for 10. According to the established international classification system, what acronym, along with the catalog number to which it corresponds, appears in the opening pages of a book? Try it, Vivek.
ISBN.
That's right, for International System of Book Numbering, that's the acronym ISBN. And in 1755, Governor Lawrence deported what group of colonists? Try it, William.
Acadians?
That's right, from their homes in Nova Scotia, not too far from where we are conducting these nationals in Halifax, in the Annapolis Valley at Grand Pre. And final snapper, who is the writer of the song Like a Rolling Stone? Try it, Jonathan.
Bob Dylan.
The great composer Bob Dylan. And that takes us to the end of a very fast-paced first round. We'll be right back after this brief pause with the score check. More questions and answers, national finals of Reach for the Top. Well, we're back from our pause, and the judge, Hamilton McGuire, has confirmed that the score is a very quick start for Gloucester on this, 250, and Lindsay Thurber has some catching up to do with only 10 points, but there's lots of time left in the game, so let's see how the score progresses from there. We're going to start off this round with assigned questions here, which means no buzzers necessary, and Magny gets the first opportunity for Ontario, and if it's missed, David with Lindsay Thurber must be ready and try it for 10 points as well. And you'll be given the name of a holy book. You are to name the religion or religious group most closely associated with its writings. For you, Magny, we have the Kojiki.
Shintoism.
And Shintoism gets you 10 points. That's the exactly correct answer we needed. For you, Vivek, the Torah.
Judaism.
Judaism, that's correct for another 10. A book which is translated to mean the way. For you, Jonathan.
Mormon.
It's not. And Justin?
I do not know.
It's called Taoism, or Taoism, as some people may pronounce it, but Taoism. And William, you get the Apocrypha.
Christianity?
I can't accept that. Offer it to Dylan.
Jewish?
No, we're looking for Catholicism specifically on that. That was the answer we had to have. David, you get the first opportunity, and Man Yi has to be ready in case it's missed. The writings are called the Analects.
Muslim.
Not Muslim. Offer it to Man Yi.
The Mormons?
No, Confucianism is in fact where the Analects would occur. And to you, Alex, the Quran.
Buddhism.
Not Buddhism. Vivek?
Islam.
Islam or Muslim, correct, for that particular question, so 10 points going to Ontario. The Tripitaka, Justin?
Buddhism.
Buddhism gets you 10 points on that one. And you look like you might just be a little surprised you got that. And finally, we have Dylan with the Mishnah.
Hinduism.
Not Hinduism. William?
Sikhs.
No, Judaism, again, is our answer on that one. So grab your buzzers now, teams. We're going to move to an open question, 30 points on 1997 news headlines. First of all, what Cuban revolutionaries, try it, Vivek?
Che Guevara.
And Che Guevara is correct for 10 points. His remains were discovered in Bolivia in 1997, 30 years after his alleged execution. And who was appointed U.S. ambassador to Canada in the summer of 1997, ending more than a year of that position being vacant? Try, Vivek.
Blanchard.
Not the answer we have here. Offer it to Alberta. Looking for Gordon Giffin on that one. And finally, what French environmentalist and explorer of the sea? Try it, Vivek.
Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau, who passed away at age 87 in 1997. And with him died a great deal of the world's knowledge about the ocean. Characters in literature is our question here, teams. An open question in 3 parts for 30 points. Who was the protagonist in Salinger's novel, The Catcher? Try it, Jonathan.
Holden Caulfield.
You got the answer. Holden Caulfield, correct for 10. Catcher in the Rye was the book. What Michael Ondaatje novel? Go ahead, Jonathan.
The English Patient.
That's right. Features among its characters a thief, a nurse, a bomb disposal expert, and a burn victim. And whose apprenticeship was chronicled? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Duddy Kravitz.
The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, correct. Chronicled in a book by Canadian author Mordecai Richler. Open now, 30 points on Lucky 13. That's the title of this series of questions. First of all, I want you to tell me in French history, who was the chief minister? Try it, Jonathan.
Cardinal Richelieu.
That's right. He was the chief minister of Louis the 13th. So 13 is somehow connected to these questions. In the game of roulette, what color is the... Jonathan?
Black.
It is. Black indeed is the color of the number 13. And who is the 13th president of the United States? Vivek?
Polk.
Have to go to Alberta. Try Justin.
Jefferson.
The answer is Millard Fillmore, who was president from 1850 to 1853 upon the sudden death of Zachary Taylor. Well, let's try a what am I question, an opportunity for a quick 40 points for your team if you can get this what am I question, 30, 20, and 10 on the remaining clues. First of all, I'm a North African country of some 1 million square kilometers and go ahead, David.
Sorry.
No, and a population in excess of 50 million. Ontario, you get a try. Gloucester, anybody? Vivek?
Algeria.
It's not Algeria. We'll go to the 30-point clue. I am strategically situated between the Mediterranean. Vivek?
Egypt.
Egypt is the answer. 30 points. Absolutely correct going to Gloucester. Strategically situated between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. And I had other clues, but unfortunately we won't get to them because we're moving on to art questions. And the art questions are based on the art reproduction which you have in the end bank of your benches. So I'll get a team representative to get out the first art selection. Get everybody to take a look at it, make sure they understand what the picture's all about. And I want you to examine this work of art and answer the following question. First of all, for 10 points, the technique represented here, go ahead, William.
Silk screen.
Judge? No, won't accept it. Uses a wood block to create what kind of artwork? Alberta, this one's yours. What kind of artwork is this? Okay, David?
A tapestry.
It's simply called a print. That is the type of artwork that it is. Produced perhaps by, in this case, wood block. And the customs of what country? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Japan.
Japan. That's the customs of the country portrayed here. Japan. Good for 10. What famous printmaker created the work? See if you can come up with this Japanese name. Okay, Vivek?
Hirogawa.
It wasn't. Offer to Alberta. Anybody have a guess there? Okay, Dylan?
Takahashi.
No, the name we're looking for is Ando Hiroshige. Ando Hiroshige on that one. And Hiroshige worked in Japan during which century? Try it. Justin.
The 19th.
19th is correct for 10 points on the final art question. So you can put your art reproduction away, and we're going to move on to a 20-point special. And the way this works is if you give me the correct answer, you'll get a quick 20 points for your team. So if both teams are ready on this 20-point special, what do the following state capitals have in common? Annapolis, Augusta, Boston, Helena, Jackson, Jefferson City, Lansing. Okay, Jonathan?
They're all named for people.
No. Lansing and St. Paul. Justin?
They're all capitals of states that start with M.
Absolutely correct. 20 points going to Lindsay Thurber for that answer. All of them are states that begin with the letter M. And we have a poet's question here. 10 points on each of these. 3 parts altogether for 30. Which Scottish poet... Go ahead, Jonathan.
Robbie Burns.
And you got the accent and the correct answer. Wrote Tam O'Shanter and the Jolly Beggars. Robert Burns is correct. Which poet was hailed as the national poet of modern Italy after writing such poems as Primitive Odes and Rhymes and Rhythms? Anybody have a guess on that? Italian poet. Try it, Vivek.
Dante.
It wasn't Dante. Offer to Alberta for a try. Anybody have a guess? Must tell you then, it's Giosuè Carducci we're looking for. And what professor of modern languages at Harvard University visited London in 1842 as the guest of Dickens? Try it, Jonathan.
Emerson.
No, it wasn't Emerson. Offer to Alberta for a try. Charles Dickens' guest. Who was he? Must tell you then, he was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. We have an open question on works by the group of 7, an art-related question. You won't see any art on this particular set, but answer the following based on the group of 7 as a theme. Which member of the group painted the red maple? Try it, Justin.
Thompson.
It wasn't Thompson. Offer to the other team. Anybody have a guess from Ontario? Vivek?
Casson.
A.Y. Jackson, have to tell you there. Who painted North Shore Lake Superior in Vivek?
Harris.
That was Lauren Harris in 1926 who painted North Shore Lake Superior. And which non-member associated, go ahead, Jonathan.
Thompson.
That was Tom Thompson, associated with the group, and he painted Northern River. And finally, who painted Stormy Weather Georgian Bay? Try it, Justin.
McDonald.
No, in 1920. Who would that have been? Vivek?
Carmichael.
The answer is Frederick Varley on that question. Let's see how you do, teams. A question on secret codes here. Let's try the following for 10 points. What is the Japanese word for tiger? That was the code for the attack on Pearl Harbor. William?
Kara?
It wasn't. Offer it to Alberta for a try. Anybody have a guess? Tora is the name. T-O-R-A. That's the Japanese word for tiger. And Tora, Tora, Tora was the rallying cry for the attacking dive bombers. What kind of code did Leonardo da Vinci use to write his... Go ahead, Jonathan.
Semaphore.
No, to write his notebooks. Try it, Dylan.
Wrote everything backwards.
Yes, he wrote backwards, or what we call mirror writing. 10 points for that answer. And what was the code name given to the atomic bomb which was dropped on... Try it, Jonathan. Dropped on
Manhattan
Hiroshima. Offer it to Alberta for a try. Justin.
Fat Man.
It was Little Boy. Little Boy was the name we were looking for. We've got a scramble question here, teams. Team question. If you get these 10 points, then you get the rights to the second part. So let's see how you do first on the scramble. For 10 points, what are Saturn V, Discovery? Go ahead, Justin.
Spacecraft.
Spacecraft. I'll give it to you. Spacecraft or space vehicles. Absolutely correct for 10 points there. And the remaining questions deal with space. This is going to Lindsay Thurber. And let's see how you do on the following. And remember, you can consult up until you activate a buzzer. What spacecraft confirmed that there was water on the moon in March of 1998? Anybody have a guess? Somebody's going to tell me? Okay, Justin.
Viking 8.
It was called Lunar Prospector. Lunar Prospector is the answer. And what space module landed on Mars in July 1997? Somebody have a guess from Lindsay Thurber? I'm going to have to tell you. It's called Pathfinder. And what is the name of the remote-controlled rover that was designed to probe the red planet's surface? Justin?
Sojourner.
Sojourner. Good for the final 10 points. So you picked up some points from that. And we've got some short snappers here. We're very quickly to the end of another round. Let's see how you do on each of these prior to our break. The writer Oscar Wilde was born in which part? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Ireland.
Yes, he was born in Ireland. Which part of the British Isles in Ireland? Correct for 10. In basketball, how high in feet is the hoop? Try it, Jonathan.
10.
It's 10 feet, correct, or 3.04 meters if we were to convert it to metric. And what distilled spirit gets its name from the Gaelic for water of life? Vivek.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Iskava is how you would say that, or as close as I can come to saying that correctly in Gaelic, and whiskey is the correct answer. And the Clayton-Bulwer Treaty of 1850 was an agreement between the U.S. and Britain to build what? Vivek?
The
Not
Panama
there.
Canal.
I'll have to give it to the other team. Try it, Dylan.
A bridge?
The Panama Canal is the answer we must have. And with that particular question, we've reached the end of another exciting round, and we'll come back with a brief score check right after this pause. We're back. The judge has confirmed the score. Gloucester still has their commanding lead, 450 to 80 over Lindsay Thurber. We're into our final round here, round 3. Let's see how the score changes during the course of this round. An open question, 30 points on Canadian geography. Try each of these teams. Approximately 90% of Canadians are said to live within 200... Try it, Vivek.
The American border?
Yes, the U.S. border, within 200 miles of that. What major Canadian region was the birthplace of Prime Minister Charles Tupper? Robert, go ahead, Vivek.
The Maritimes.
Yes, the Maritimes is correct. Maritime provinces, Robert Laird Borden and R.B. Bennett, all were born in this area, the Maritimes. And what major geographic formation occurred through glacial retreat on the... Go ahead, Jonathan.
The Canadian Shield.
No, through glacial retreat on the Canadian Shield. The geographic formation that occurred through glacial retreat on the Canadian Shield. That's a complete question, Alex.
Logs.
The Great Lakes is the answer. We're moving on to the final part.
Those are just big
You
balls.
can grab your pencil and your teams. We've come to a mathematic head. A, so much the better, and I admire you because it would probably stress me on some of these. And on these, please make sure you listen to the whole question before you buzz in, because there may be more than just the first parts to it. Okay, the first question for 10 points. It says, Christy now weighs 112 pounds. This is 80% of what she weighed before her diet. What did she weigh before her diet? Working feverishly on the math. Alex?
144 pounds.
Not correct. I'll offer it to Gloucester for a try. How much did she weigh? Jonathan?
136.
She, in fact, weighed 140 pounds, directly in between the two answers you gave, so no points on the first one. Second one, try this one. A money and business related question. Mr. and Mrs. Jones signed a note for $1,000 for 3 months at 8% simple annual interest to help with their son's tuition. How much interest did they pay when it came due? The note was for $1,000 for 3 months at 8% simple annual interest. Okay, Vivek.
$20.
$20, right on the nose. That is what they paid in the way of interest. And with that 10-point award to Ontario, we will try this one. Donna and Dan borrowed $1,600 from the Hamilton Teachers Credit Union for 6 months at 8% simple annual interest. How much interest did they pay? A lot of money being paid here on loans. Let's see how you do with the answer. Okay, Magny.
$74?
Not the answer. Offer to Alberta. Anyone on Lindsay Thurber? I'll give you a moment more to work it out. Okay, Alex.
$96.
No, the answer is $64 that we needed. So you can put pencil and paper aside now, and we move directly to a team question scramble here. If you get this, your team will get the rights to the second part. So let's see how you do on the first part. For 10 points, what famous Canadian, born in New Brunswick in poverty, rose to become head of a Hollywood studio? Try it, Jonathan.
Mayor.
You just got the answer in there. I was about to offer it to the other team. Louis B. Mayer is correct, and that means that the second parts go to Gloucester there. For 10 points on each of the following, and you may consult up until your buzzer is activated. What was the name of the famous studio that is famous for its lion logo? Vivek?
MGM.
MGM or Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, correct for 10. One of the studio's most famous pictures and biggest moneymakers was an epic story of the American Civil War. What famous actor did Mayer choose to play the lead role? Anybody? Vivek?
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable, that's correct, in Gone with the Wind. And perhaps one of Mayer's biggest lucky strikes occurred when 20th Century Fox would not lend him Shirley Temple to play a little girl in a musical children's fantasy about a special pair of shoes. What young singing actress played the role? Vivek?
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, and of course the famous movie was The Wizard of Oz. Open question now here, teams, both teams in this. Science first is the topic. I want you to tell me on the first question, which American-British physicist was the first to regard heat as a form of energy? Jonathan.
Calorie.
It wasn't calorie. Offer it to David.
Joule.
His name is Sir Benjamin Rumford, Count Rumford. And which American physicist was the first to generate a laser beam in 1960? I need a name for that man. Vivek.
Singh.
It wasn't. Offer it to Alberta. Justin.
Röntgen.
No, we're looking for Theodore Myman on that one. Theodore Myman. And which English chemist developed the first electric cell with a working life longer than Volta's earlier battery? Go ahead, Magny.
Faraday?
No, it wasn't Faraday. Offer to Alberta. Anybody come up with that name? We're looking for John Daniel on that one. We have a Who Am I question now, teams. Opportunity for a quick 40 if you can get this Who Am I on the first clue. 30, 20, and 10 remains for you if you need the other clues. And let's see how you do for the first opportunity on 40. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica on December 10th, 1924, the second son of an English... Go ahead, Vivek.
Manley.
Michael Manley, absolutely correct. 40 points on that one. The second son of an English-born sculptor, and 40 points going to Gloucester very quickly on that answer. And we move from a who am I to a French phrases question, and I will give you a French phrase concerning Quebec, and you give the English translation. So Quebec is involved in each of these. First of all, I want the translation for je me souviens. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I remember.
Je me souviens means I remember, absolutely, for 10 on that one. Let's see how I do with the pronunciation of this one. La Révolution tranquille. Vivek?
The Quiet Revolution.
The Quiet Revolution, a political period in Quebec's history. Correct for another 10. And Maître chez nous. Vivek?
Masters in Our Own Home.
Judge, will you accept? You will accept Masters in Our Own House or Masters in Our Own Home, which was a rallying cry for many Quebecers. And an open question now, moving away from the French, and I'm somewhat grateful for that since my French pronunciation seems a bit suspect. Let's try a history first question. I want you to tell me, first of all, who became the first official president of Israel in Vivek?
Weizmann.
Chaim Weizmann is correct, in 1949. Which Chinese revolutionary founded the Nationalist Party? Go ahead, Vivek.
Sun Yat-sen.
Sun Yat-sen, or the Kuomintang in 1912. Again, correct. Open now on Japanese terms. Let's see how you can fare with some Japanese. We're doing a lot of languages in this game. Let's see how I hold up with these. What is the Japanese name for the suicide pilots? Okay, Vivek.
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze. They intentionally crash their planes into enemy ships. Meaning fire bowl, it is a charcoal cooking brazier used in the preparation. Try it, Dylan.
Wok.
Not wok, it's used in the preparation of meats. Gloucester, Vivek?
Hibachi.
A hibachi is used for that. The first syllable car, K-A-R, means open. The second syllable means symphony. What is a popular form of entertainment? Popular, go ahead, Vivek.
Karaoke.
Karaoke is correct. Popular in bars and hotels. And it means open hand. It's a popular martial. Well, we won't get to karate, which is a popular martial arts form, because we're going straight to short snappers to finish off this game. So if both teams are ready on the buzzers here for 10 points, what band is led by Carl Wallinger? Go ahead, Justin.
Scambler.
Carl Wallinger. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Midnight Oil.
World Party is the name of that band. What is the Japanese wine sake? Vivek?
Rice.
Fermented rice. That's what it's made from. The North Atlantic Faroe Islands belong to which? Go ahead, Vivek.
Denmark.
They belong to Denmark, correct for 10. The first newspaper in Upper Canada was published at Niagara and was called what? Anybody have its name? Vivek?
The Herald.
No, I'll offer it to Alberta Dillon.
The Journal.
It was called the Gazette on that one. Which French existentialist wrote The Plague? Try it, Vivek.
Sartre.
It wasn't Sartre. Who wrote The Plague, Alberta? Anybody have a guess? His name was Albert Camus. In Montreal in 1676, a person could beg only if he had permission from a member of what profession? Try it, William.
The clergy.
That's right, the priesthood or the clergy. In addition to the Model T and the Edsel, go ahead, Jonathan.
Thunderbird.
Henry Ford invented and manufactured what barbecue material in Kingsford, Michigan? Anybody have a guess? Try it, David.
Charcoal.
Judge? You'll accept charcoal or charcoal briquettes is the complete answer there. Of which Arab Middle Eastern country was King Faisal? Go ahead, Vivek.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. He was indeed the monarch. What is the common name of the element mercury? Go ahead, Magny.
Liquid silver.
Have to offer it to Dylan.
Quicksilver.
It's called Quicksilver on that one. Who was the first Lieutenant Governor of Upper Canada? Try it, Jonathan.
Simcoe.
John Graves Simcoe, good for 10. Continuing with short snappers here. Carlotta was the wife of which emperor of Mexico between 1864 and 1860? Try it, Vivek.
Napoleon.
Between 1864 and 1867. Lindsay Thurber, give it a try for 10. Which emperor was that? We're looking for Emperor Maximilian. What is the name of Israel's international competition of Jewish athletes? Well, we won't get to the Maccabea Games as an answer because we had the siren, and the siren indicates an end to our questioning time. Judge has confirmed the score, 690 points for Gloucester. They look like a very strong competitor in the semifinal round. And the team from Alberta showed a great deal of spirit to go right to the end of questioning time. Please join us next time. For Hamilton McGuire, I'm Hans Budgie. So long for now from the Sir James Dunn Theatre, Halifax, Nova Scotia.